So, what I am going to share today is, as you see in the title, is the silent, I call them the silent health destroyers, and the silent factors that most people don't really connect the dots. We just don't know, and once you embark on a healing journey, once you decide to clean house and regenerate your body, then you're going to be asked to look at everything in your life that is compromising your well-being. Now, what I offer in this group, and when I say health, is more than just like mainstream health. It's levels of health and vitality that are not taught. We were never taught, most of us, we were never taught just how the potential and what this body it really is and what it is capable of. So when I say health is so much, it's supreme health, I call it. It's supreme vitality. It's a level of power, physically and otherwise, that majority of people really don't even know, like, what are we capable of. And the first step, obviously, is to gain your health back. Like, before we even reach some levels of supreme health and vitality, for many people, the first step is really just getting out of an illness or some sort of conditions or health challenges, right? So people come from different places and from different backgrounds and from different reasons. They walk into this space of healing, right? And for some people, it's maybe not big health issues, but it's more about evolving more spiritually, because the more you clean your body, the healthier you become, the more vital you become. Actually, the more you grow spiritually, because they go hand in hand. So, as I said, when you enter this world of healing, of regeneration, and especially to the levels in which I share here, that I present, what I share about cellular regeneration and the levels of vitality that are available to you, then, as I said earlier, you're going to be invited to look at everything in life that is harming, that is compromising your health physically, mentally, emotionally, and in many cases it's spiritually as well, and I'm going to get into that. So we're going to be invited to look at those things, and in some cases we're going to be very challenged, because when we realize just how much of how we live our lives is so out of sync with nature and is actually harming our health, for many people it can be very challenging, because that means, wow, there's a lot of changes that I am going to be asked to implement if I really want to attain supreme health. Now, as I mentioned, for people that are very challenged by health issues, that it's not just, oh, I want to become supremely healthy. It's just like, get me out of cancer, or get this tumor out of me, or get the Crohn's disease, or the lupus, or the many titles that the medical world have put on these things. Whatever it may be for you, it doesn't matter. It all starts from the same cause. So when this is the case for somebody, when we are looking at some more major health issues, then that is an absolute must, to look at all those factors that are harming your well-being and actually are blocking you from reaching the levels of health that you are envisioning for yourself. And that's why I'm very passionate about this topic, because, as I said, these are not things that people actually put the dots together. Most people focus, and at least that, because that is a very important step. Most people, when they come into health, is like just looking at the food, right? I mean, that is like, now it's becoming more and more clear to people that what you eat actually plays a very significant role in your health, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So that is now more of a common knowledge, yet in many cases there's overemphasis on the food and things to take, and not so much on these other factors that you can drink all the juice in the world and you can do all the things that you are told to eat these things, or even the fasting and all. It's great, but there's many pieces to the puzzle. And again, that's why I'm so passionate about this, because we got to get the whole picture in order to get to the other side of whatever it is that we are faced with. Yeah. So this is what I'm going to be sharing today. And I already started a series of articles that I'm basically just sharing what I'll be sharing today in a written form. So the first article that I released, and you can find it in the group, is about the sunglasses, right? That's a major one. And I'm going to talk about this today. And more articles are going to come in a written form about some of the things that I'm presenting today. The list is very long, actually, when it comes to how many factors, how many of those silent factors are present in this day and age that majority of people are not aware. The dots are not connected. So the list is very, very long. And what I'll be covering today is just a few things that are very essential. And I'll continue to share about this in different forms. But what I'll be sharing today in a more concise manner is I'm going to present the factors that I feel are very essential to present today. I'm going to put it in under the umbrella of the elements, actually. So we're looking at air, water, fire, and earth. So I'm going to go one by one with these elements and how many factors are in each of those elements those are the elements that make our reality, right, in a physical form. And each of this element actually also has emotional and spiritual implications. So that will be the umbrella to host all these factors that I'll be sharing today. So let's start with air, okay? Because air is the most fundamental element. This is common knowledge that you can live without food for a very, very, very long time, much longer than what most people are aware of. But food you can go for a long time without and be absolutely okay. Same thing with water, actually, that you can go very long without any liquids. But air, at least for majority of people, you'll pretty much die after a couple of minutes, right, of not having air supply. So the emphasis is so much, as I said, on the food and on the water, which is great that we at least are starting to get more awareness in that department. But the air is actually the number one, the most important element that we must look at. So with the air, we're looking at a few factors. I'm going to start with the breath, actually. And I have some notes that I did take earlier that I do want to actually stick to. So let me just look at something. I wrote something down a little bit earlier. Ah, here it is. Okay. All right. So with the breath, And if you are joining, I see some people joining, just write in the comments, say hello if you wish, unless you want to stay anonymous. And if you have any questions, then just write it in the comments and I'll address the questions as later on as I come to closer to the end. But if you are joining just now, you missed what I just said, which I'm going to put all these factors under the umbrella of the 4 elements: air, water, fire, and earth. And so I'm starting with air and I'm going to touch on a few factors under the element of air, which is the most fundamental one. So number 1 with the air, we're looking at the breath, actually. We're looking at the breath and we're looking at the lungs. So I'm going to start with a breath, actually, that is again, kind of like the silent factor, that most people breathe in a very, very shallow way. They don't utilize the full capacity of the lungs. And even as I say that, notice your breath and notice the difference when you actually pay attention to your breathing and when you utilize the full capacity of your lungs. Most people breathe only from up here, the upper part of the lungs, the chest area. Never to really utilize the abdominal cavity. Because we have the upper part of the lungs, we have the middle part of the lungs, we have the lower part of the lungs. And in case you didn't know, the lungs is one of the larger elimination organ in the body. So not only that the lungs take in, the lungs also remove. So the skin and the lungs actually share that function. They both absorb and expel. And the lungs are an elimination organ. However, though, it's not utilized fully because most people breathe very shallow, and the exhale, the breath out, never really gets all the way out. And just so you know that with your exhale alone, you remove waste from the body. However, though, what starts to happen, and all these factors that I'll be mentioning today also, is that it's more of an accumulative thing. Because after years and years of repeating these things and having those factors playing in the background, that's when we start looking at some health issues, and then people don't connect the dots that their Crohn's or their Hashimoto's, or again, whatever the title is actually related to the fact that they've spent the majority of their life, 20, 30, 40 years, not breathing properly, okay? And so we're looking both at the inhale, the intake of breath, that most people don't really utilize the full capacity of their lungs. Now, what happens then is that the lungs over time become weak, because it's just like any other muscle in your body. If you don't really use it, you're going to start losing it. You're going to start losing the function, the functionality of it. And so the lungs become weak. And when the lungs become weak, an elimination organ that becomes weak, not only that the utilization of oxygen is compromised, what the lungs take in, because they're not working to their full capacity, but again, the elimination capacity of the lungs is also compromised. And the fact that the exhale is never really moving all the way down to the bottom of the lungs to remove all the waste, because the breath is shallow, the breath is quick. So both the inhale and the exhale are not utilizing the capacity of the lungs. You don't take all that oxygen in that is available, and you don't release all that waste out completely. So when the lungs get weak, Not only that, of course, the lungs are weak and they lose their function, but it also weakens the heart and the circulation. The lungs, the heart, and the blood circulation, they all work together. The lungs take in oxygen, you release CO2, and the heart, that is responsible for pumping the blood in the body, among many other things, starts to weaken because the lungs are weaker. There's not enough oxygen in the body, which alone compromises your health. You need to have oxygen. That's one of the reasons why we become healthier once we start ingesting fruits and living foods, because not just that it's hydration, but it's also oxygenates your body more. That's why yoga is very, very beneficial and valuable on a physical level, because it compresses the body and opens up, and it moves blood and it moves oxygens to the brain. So many health issues that we are looking at are directly related and connected to the brain is actually not functioning. There's not enough circulation that gets to the brain, and therefore there's not enough oxygen that gets to the brain, and that starts to weaken the glands in your brain. Okay? So the lungs are weak, oxygen supply throughout your body is compromised, and you're not eliminating waste from your lungs. And the implications of that are immense. Again, we can correlate many health issues just to that alone. So the most important element, which is air, which is your breath, that alone is something to pay attention to if you're moving in the direction of health and regeneration. It's an absolute must to start increasing your lung capacity, to really pay more attention to your breath, to bring more awareness to your breath, and to start breathing from the lower part of the lungs, middle part, upper part, and then when you exhale, really exhale all the air out. So that is number one, key. Now, the other thing that is related to the air element is that most people, not only that you don't really breathe properly, but you breathe crappy air. So that is a huge factor. That is a huge factor, my friends, that when you do breathe, it's not good quality air. All of you living in cities know that it compromises your health big time, especially if you are looking at major health complications that you would like to resolve. As long as you are in an environment that the air is polluted, it's going to compromise your healing ability. No matter how much great food, organic, whatever you eat, it's better, but you got to look at all those pieces, bring all the pieces together. So, okay, what to do if you are in a city or somewhere where the air quality is not that great? The priority must be to go to places in which you can at least get good air. That's why you can go to the beach, you can go to a mountain area, anywhere that has more trees also, that even if there's pollution, but the trees are like our best friends, so they help to clear and clean the environment. You know, the trees do so much for us. So at least go to places where you have more trees if the beach is not available, or somewhere more remote that you can go to, that is away from the pollution, that is away from the city, that you can go and breathe. Because if you're doing, breath work or doing those deep breaths exercises and it's polluted, not the best. The same thing applies to those of you that spend a lot of time indoors, in the house, and especially with AC on. there's no air moving in your house and in your apartment or wherever you are, the implications of that are, that alone can have a video on its own. So you gotta have more time outside where the air is cleaner, and when you are at home, at least to have windows open. Now, a lot of you that live in cold climates and you spend months on end in a closed house or in a closed apartment with the heat on, or where there's no fresh air at all, and if you work in an office or you work from home and the home is all closed up, that is going to be a factor, a silent factor that is huge, absolutely huge. And on top of that, you add the shallow breathing. And so you're really cutting the most important supply, the most important life supply to your body and your brain. So no doctor is going to tell you that. They're just going to give you the pills. No doctor is going to tell you, well, actually, honey, your Hashimoto's is, or your thyroid is not functioning because you don't get enough air, enough oxygen in your body, in your blood. So when your master glands in your brain are down and compromised, your entire endocrine system is going to be compromised. And that's when you start seeing a ton of health issues that are all related to your endocrine system. And the list is long, very, very long. So that is the air. That is the air element. And again, each one of them, I can do a video on its own, but I'm just gonna kind of do the bullet points for today. Now moving to water, as I'll sip. Okay. There's a couple of things when it comes to water. Number one, well, it's actually quite perfect that I have. Usually I don't like to, when I do the videos, I don't like to sip on juice. But today I felt like, I want to have some juice, and this is perfect. It's perfect because it brings me to point number one under the water element, is the whole concept of drinking water. All right, so most people, again, one second, let me start with saying that when it comes to the water element, after air, water is essential, and the fact that most of our body is water, is fluids. We're looking at blood, which is a fluid. The lymphatic fluid is not so much watery, it's more lipid based, but there's some fluid in it. But as we know, we've got a lot of fluid in the body. We are walking water and oxygen in a sense. And water is an essential element. Now, this is another silent factor that people don't realize, that much of their health issues are actually a result of dehydration. However, though, it's not the dehydration that most people think of. Oh, I'm dehydrated, let me drink water. No, I'm not talking about that kind of dehydration. That is just a symptom. If you're feeling thirsty, is because the body is dehydrated. But the dehydration that I'm talking about is on a cellular level. We're looking at interstitial dehydration, which means it's internally within your structure, your cellular structure. We're looking at that level of dehydration. That no matter how much water you drink is not going to hydrate you. And that is one of the biggest falsehood out there, and one of the biggest silent health destroyer on the planet, because it's what is being pushed on people is actually drink water, drink water, drink water. You need to drink 8 cups of water a day. And oh my God, my friends, and I'm going to get to the quality of water too, the kind of water that you drink, which is just detrimental. However, just that fact alone that people think, oh, I am going to drink a ton of water and that's going to hydrate me, and that's not the case. And the more water you drink, actually, people think, oh, it's so healthy. I drink a gallon of water a day. It weakens your kidneys. And majority of people have weak kidneys to begin with. And so putting all that water in weakens your kidneys even more so. The kidneys are responsible for removing cellular waste, lymphatic waste from your body. When the kidneys don't function well, when there's waste accumulation in your body, that's when you see all what is called diseases. So how of a chakra this could be if I tell you that it's not the only thing, right? I'd be looking at the whole picture. However, though, if somebody would tell you, like I'm telling you right now, that your cancer or whatever the disease actually related to the fact that you've been drinking a gallon of water a day for the past 10 years. And on top of that, it's water that is just not good. The kind of hydration that we are looking at, as I said, because the body is dehydrated on an interstitial level, cellularly speaking, we need to get structured water that juice and fruits, just eating the fruits, are already equipped with. Mother Nature is not stupid. The Creator is not stupid. Everything has been put on the planet for us to consume in its natural state. And fruits, all living foods, but especially fruits, contain structured water that the body actually knows how to assimilate, and it's not even knows, but assimilates very quickly and efficiently and hydrates your cells. So when you speak to every person that lives on fruits or on juices, like myself, I don't drink water. Sometimes if I really want to, I'll have some. But when you start hydrating your body like this, when you eat fruits, when you drink the juices, when you consume the living water, the structured water, you don't feel thirsty. You really start hydrating your body, and it hydrates your skin. It hydrates. You don't need to use lotions. You don't need to use anything. It's like everything becomes more soft and moist and hydrated. So, and now it can take years. It can take years to hydrate the body on the levels that I'm speaking about. For some people, it can take years, depending on the level of stagnation, of dehydration, because that's when we look at case by case. And that's also one of the reasons why solidification, going on the juices, is such an extended one, is such a beneficial thing to do when you are on a health journey, at least once in your life, you know. But that's the kind of hydration that we want to bring to the body. And I mean, there's more to say about the fruits and the juices and the electrical life force that they bring into the body that starts moving things, and the astringent power that start moving the obstructions and whatever, the congestion and the stagnation. But just focusing on the water element and focusing on the hydration that it brings. And here's the thing about drinking water is that you're actually ingesting dead water. Now, if you were to drink water, and this is the case for me, you know, even I feel that I want to do a water fast, but I don't want to fast on water that is dead. So if you have a source of living water, and most of you are fortunate to have like a spring that you can go and get your water, it's unaltered, it's untouched, it's really fresh from the ground. That's the kind of water that I say drink. But you don't need much. That's the thing. It's not natural to drink that much. You you would just drink a little bit and you'll be happy, because also when the water is alive and is from a natural source, it's full of life, and you just drink a little bit and that's all you need. The same thing applies to high quality produce. When it's organic and it grows on a really rich soil, you feel the difference. You need a lot less, because it has all the richness that is meant it is meant to carry when the conditions are correct. So if you have that source of water, by all means enjoy that water. But when you drink, and it doesn't matter, because now the water has become a full-on industry, and people are being pushed on, you need to have alkaline water, you need to have reverse osmosis, you need to have this, buy my machine, no, buy that machine. It's just, it has become an entire industry. And the bottled water, that's a whole nother topic on its own. It's a business. It has become a business, just like anything else. So that's when you got to scratch your head and ask yourself, if I'm being sold on something so much, then what's behind that? What is behind that? So most of the water that people consume is dead, and it taxes the body completely. And as I said, it more than anything else, it taxes your kidneys. When your kidneys are down, your health is going to be down to some extent, depending on how down your kidneys are, and then other things that are affected in your body. But when your kidneys are down, that's no bueno. And as I said, this is a cumulative. And if you continue, then, maybe now you feel, nothing, but then 10 years from now, boom. So all these factors that I'm mentioning, that's why it's the silent ones, is to start paying attention and know that these things can, if it's not now, might have an impact on your body and your health 5 years from now. So pay attention. Now, the amount of water that I said, yes, way too much. You're drinking the dead water. It's not structured. It's not really hydrating your body. And when your body is dehydrated on a cellular level, you need the structured water from the fruits, from the living foods, from the juices. Now, the other thing is that, like I said, with the lungs, the largest organ in your body is your skin. And the skin not just eliminates, is an elimination organ, but it also absorbs. Anything on your skin goes straight into your bloodstream, into your body. So this is a huge silent factor, one of the biggest ones. The shower, something that you do every single day for most people, bathing in the shower, even taking a bath, which is even worse when you just soak there, but it doesn't matter. Like a shower, bath, you let the water in. So, a lot of people do all the things for their health. You're drinking the juices, doing the saunas, getting massages, staying with the fruits, herbs, fasting, all these things. But then you shower every day. And you live in a city, or in these days, it's easier to find places with disgusting water than clean water when it comes to bathing and showering. So, but especially if you live in a city, you shower every day, and it's frightening to know when you find out, and I'm sharing with you right now, of what is actually in your water. It's scary. And that these waters also run through pipes that are rusted, might be old, depending where you're living. All kind of nasty stuff can be present in those pipes, even some parasites, and they dump a ton of waste in in these waters. Also, again, especially in cities, birth controls, residues of all kind of pharmaceuticals. As I said, it's really horrendous to have that realization and have that eye-opening realization that you bathe in these waters on a regular basis, and you bathe your kids in those waters as well. Some places, depending on the country and the cities, they put chlorine in the water, and that has detrimental effect on your entire body and on your brain. As I said, calcifying your master glands, and that compromises the function of your entire endocrine system, and that's going to bring your health down slowly but surely. So this, as I said, this is one of the most important ones, one of the most common thing that people do, just like breathing, never connecting the dots, that my shower that I bathe in every single day is actually compromising either my health or my healing journey. So what to do? ASAP, at least, get a shower filter and look at getting a filtration system for the entire house. That's just a step, but it's better until things start to change more on a larger scale, where when people get their values straight, and cities will come to their sane mind and stop doing all these things that they've been doing to the waters. So until then, you just do the best you can. Get a filter, your shower head. There's a lot of great filters out there that work on like copper technology, but you can do your own research, and it's well worth the investment to look into filtering your entire house if you live in a house. So that's about the water. Again, I can go for so long on each one, but this is good for now. Now, with the fire element, we're looking at the sun and natural light. So this is the article that I already posted about sunglasses and how much they compromise your health and your healing journey when you block your eyes from actually receiving the natural wavelength and the full spectrum of light. So the sunglasses is one, but some people, okay, I don't wear sunglasses. But just like with the air, if you spend most of your time indoors. Now, and I want to say a side note that even if it's not a sunny day, there's still light from the sun. And yes, if you live somewhere that is very cloudy for the majority of the year, it's going to have an impact on your health, not physically, emotionally, mentally. But even the fact, again, that spending time indoors where you're not exposed to, and it's not just light, but you want to be outside, because it's different, right? I'm in the room right now, and there is sun, there is light coming in, but it's not the same as me being outside, and the eyes are actually exposed to the sunlight. So you don't need to stare at the sun, but just to have the light in your eyes. So again, just like with the air, if you are indoors a lot, most of the time, and you don't, and from morning, and then by the time you get out, it's already sunset or evening time, and you really don't get enough light in your eyes on a regular basis. So even if you don't wear sunglasses, if you spend a lot of time indoors, plus when you're outside, you're putting sunglasses on, forget about it. That's going to compromise your health and your healing journey 100%. So it's not just the sunglasses, but it's really being outside more and being exposed to light. And same thing applies to all these artificial lights that so many people that's what they're exposed to for the most of the time. If you work in an office, and those fluorescent lights that are not only artificial, but are very harming to the brain. Their frequency, it harms the brain. So the brain is the main computer, my friends, and when that is compromised, everything else is going to be compromised. And the mental and emotional issues that we're looking at in our society, look at those factor silent health destroyers. That's the reason why people are mentally insane. There's so many mental and emotional issues. That's huge. Just those artificial lights that people are using, and not having enough of the natural sunlight and the natural wavelengths that we were designed to receive from the sun. Okay? So be outside every day. You gotta be outside every day. And without the sunglasses, and getting sun in your eyes and light. And of course, we can look at things like sun gazing at sunrise and sunset, not midday, sunrise and sunset. That is very, very soothing and healing, to receive the light from the sun and the energy from the sun during the sunrise and sunset in particular, and how it can assist your healing journey, and especially healing your brain. If you are or have been challenged by any emotional and mental disorders, the sun is a healer. And same thing applies to getting sun on your skin. Sunblocks are, by itself, just the material of sunblocks is so toxic, but the fact that you're blocking your skin from actually receiving the sun. So being outside, the sun, the fire element, is crucial, is absolutely essential. And the last element that we're going to look at is earth. And there's a couple of things on the earth that I want to mention here. And since I was already speaking about the skin and what you're putting on it, I'll start with that. That the body, like the physical body, is actually of the earth element. So what you put on your skin, as I mentioned at the beginning, your skin absorbs everything. It's no different than you putting things in your mouth, is you actually putting things on your skin. So I mentioned the sunblock that is detrimental, the actual substance of the sunscreen itself, not just the fact that you're blocking your skin from receiving sun. Hello, my love, Aline. Thank you for joining, sweetie. Yes, I'm just in the last element, but come back to the video at a different time if you can. So, as I said, yeah, blocking the skin from actually receiving the sun. But when you put all these creams and lotions, whatever it is that you put on your skin that you wouldn't eat, if you still use quote unquote, even if it's natural, they put it on the bottle now, because that has become a very trendy thing to just say organic, natural, all natural ingredients. And then you look at the bottle and there's like a list of things that you can't even pronounce. And if I told you eat it, you would tell me like, I don't want to eat this. I would never put it in my mouth. It's the same thing. You absorb everything from your skin, everything. So if you wouldn't put it in your mouth, that's my principle, like a guideline. If I wouldn't put it in my mouth, I'm not going to put it on my skin. So if you're still using, and again, even if it has the word natural on it, really look on the ingredients. Start paying attention. This is your health we're talking about. This is your vessel. This is your body temple. Pay attention. Just like you wouldn't just invite any guest from the street into your home. But that's what people do with their bodies. Oh, sure. Like let this drunk person just walk into my house and do whatever it wants to do. You wouldn't do that, but you put shit on your skin and put shit in your mouth. It's equivalent to opening your door of the door to your house and letting all the stray cats and all the drunk people from the street come in. So pay attention. Pay attention. Your skin takes it all. It goes into your body. It goes straight into your bloodstream. And when your health is already compromised because you have stagnation of lymphatic system of your lymphatic movement, the last thing you want to do is bring in more toxicity because your body is not eliminating it. And you keep blocking your skin from pushing things out. So you see why those are silent killers, I even call them, because I was talking about the skin. I believe that we got that clear. And the other thing about the earth element, which is that the skin is one, just our bodies, what you put on your skin is equivalent to what you put in your mouth. So the other element or the other factor under the earth element is actually the connection to the earth with your feet. So just like with the shower and the air, those factors, those things that you do on a regular basis and play such a major factor because you do it on a daily basis, is wearing shoes. Yep, wearing shoes. No doctor is going to tell you that your depression or IBS or whatever it may be, whatever BS they call it, is related to the fact that your feet haven't been on the earth in many months. So the shoes thing, and especially when you wear closed shoes. So at least when you wear sandals, your feet are at least not kind of tucked into this tight shoe that is cutting out circulation and it has other implications. But even with sandals or anything, you're not in direct connection with the earth, your feet. The feet are like, oh my God, there's so much to say about the feet. Again, I'm just looking at my notes because I wrote something in particular about the feet and about the shoes. Oh, okay, here we go. So the feet, there's so much that can be said about the feet and how your entire body gets activated when the feet are activated, which is one of the reasons why it's really important to walk barefoot. So even if you're wearing sandals, you're still not barefoot. And some people say, well, I live in a city, like I'm not going to walk barefoot. Well, okay, maybe not on the street, which you could do. But that's why, like, get yourself somewhere that you can take your shoes off, and even if it's just for a little bit, that you can walk barefoot. You know, I actually walk in places where there is like gravel or there's some little rocks that I feel like the acupressure on my feet as I walk, and it does slow you down because you will walk slower if you are on a surface that is not like smooth. And just like with the sunglasses, when people say, oh, I can't be outside without sunglasses, is because you've weakened your eyes. And the same thing happens to the feet. People not walking barefoot, you weaken your feet. And so when I put you on a surface that is not like smooth, it's not like super rough, but you've lost the natural state of your feet, that you actually are unable to walk on the ground, that it's actually okay. It's just going to slow you down. But you feel the acupressure, you feel that acupuncture on your feet, and oh my God, my friends, it feels so good. And so, but just walking barefoot, just having that connection with your feet on the earth is absolutely essential. Like when I see people on the beach They go for walks on the beach, which is great. At least they do that. But they're wearing shoes, not just sandals, but actually closed shoes on the beach, on the sand. No, you want to get your feet on the earth. Also, what happens is that the body, there's several things, but the body, when you walk barefoot, the body, because the body is electricity. We're looking at air, the oxygen, we're looking at blood, the fluid, and then we're looking at electricity, the nerves, the nervous system that is comprised of electricity. Literally, we are electrical beings. When you walk barefoot, this is when your body can actually discharge some of the, you can say unnecessary, because we have the negative and the positive with electricity, right? So the body actually releases and discharges. I'm not an electrician, my dad and electricians can actually explain this even better, but it works on the same concepts. That the body discharges whatever electrons, electricity it doesn't need. It's like elimination. So we have an elimination of fluids in the body. We have elimination of the exhale, the air, all of it is waste. Same thing with that nerve electricity, you can say, that the body needs to discharge. And when you are in shoes all the time, the body doesn't have the opportunity to do that. So there's an accumulation of waste from that angle. You see the implications of like, oh, just the little thing, something that I do all the time, every day. And when I see kids, little ones, with closed shoes on them, I cringe, because that's how young it begins. Some people, some children never walk barefoot outside. I'm not talking inside, then at least be inside with no shoes. But it's not the same. There's different things to look at. It's the fact that, yes, you just want to be barefoot, so at home be barefoot. But it's the connection with the feet to the earth. And not just standing on it, that's great, walking. Now here's the thing with the walking and walking barefoot versus wearing shoes. And you start paying attention. When you walk barefoot, notice the vibrations in your body. Your body literally vibrates when you walk barefoot, which is very beneficial and needed for your nervous system, to regulate your nervous system, to stabilize your nervous system, and to actually activate and strengthen your vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is connected to so many things in your body, including your digestion and your breath. Because the vagus nerve, which is right here in the back of your cerebellum, is directly connected to your solar plexus, your stomach, and your lungs. And it has extensions all throughout the body. But the solar plexus is part of the autonomic nervous system. That for many people, it's down. And it affects your breathing, it affects your elimination, it affects energy levels, it affects so many things. But then we're looking at the central nervous system just as much. And that's why the walking barefoot, walking in general, is one of the best ways to move your body, but walking barefoot is not the same. And this is an exercise I'm giving you right now, is to pay attention when you walk barefoot. Start noticing how it actually vibrates throughout your spine and in here. And majority of people never have that. They just don't have that at all. At all. So that disconnection, the feet from the ground and actually walking while you are barefoot, it causes the nervous and the skeleton system to weaken over time. Right? When people have osteoporosis and things like that. So yes, we look at the food, we look at different things, but it's actually like, when is the last time you walked barefoot for more than a minute outside? Majority of people, the answer to that question would be maybe when I was 5, but now I'm 65. So that's 60 years of not having that vibration in your body. You think it's not going to have detrimental effects on your health? Of course it does. And again, no doctor is going to tell you that your arthritis and your osteoporosis and what you're losing bone density is because of the fact that you wear shoes all the time. And the last time your feet actually touched the earth was 40 years ago. Silent factors, my friends, the silent killers. You start connecting those dots, you start implementing those things into your life, and you're going to see very significant changes in your health and your well-being, regardless of what is your starting point. So as I said, that disconnection that weakens your nervous system, that has massive mental and emotional implications, not just physically. So the copious amounts of mental health issues, we know that, and even things like, depression, as I said earlier, eating disorders, any emotional swings, ups and downs, those things are not normal, my friends. This is not our natural state, not even close. Not even close, but our society has agreed upon these facts. Oh, this is normal. To have depression is normal. It's part of life. It is not. All these factors that I'm talking about, this is our natural state. This is how we live when we are in a natural environment, in natural state. We would walk barefoot. We would be connected to the earth. We would breathe clean air. We would have an abundance of fruits and living foods. We would not put any shit on our skin because it's just not what is available. All these factors that I've mentioned are all part of our natural environment and our natural state. We'll be outside in the sun, receiving the light with no sunglasses, with no sunscreens. This is just common sense. The deterioration of health that we are seeing in people and on this planet is not coming out of like nowhere. And it's not just about the food. I talk about it extensively, of course, because it's a massive piece in the puzzle, but it's not the only one. And when you have a weak nervous system also, when you have all these things that are down, your food choices are going to reflect what it is that is going on inside of you. You're not going to be attracted to the high vibrating stuff because that's the state in your body, right? And so that's when people have so many struggles of like, I want to eat healthy or I want to change my habits and whatnot, but they encounter so many challenges and cravings and such because the internal environment is hardwired to ask for certain things and crave certain things and eat certain things and repeat certain patterns. So if we just focus on the food, then many people just stay very challenged and they're unable to go to the other side because they're not looking at all these factors that I mentioned here today. So start implementing those things, especially if you have very major health things that you are working with. I cannot emphasize it enough of walking barefoot and do that on a daily, regular basis. Yes, even it is on a dirty street. You know what? Let's just say concrete is not the most ideal. It's really not. You want to be on dirt, grass, sand, natural surface. But that at least you get some barefoot walking to get that vibration that I was talking about. And also, as I said, it weakens your skeleton system over time. And that's when we see It's not the only factor, but on top of other things, we see the bone loss. People think, oh, I'm just getting old, so I'm losing bone density. Bullshit. It's straight up bullshit. You can actually get even stronger bones as the years go by when you live in alignment with natural laws. It's that simple. So, as I said, these weaknesses, nervous system, skeleton system, manifest in various physical and mental, emotional disorders, dis-eases, imbalances. And it has spiritual implications as well, as I said earlier at the beginning, that all of this is connected. And all those factors that I talked about today, all of them have some sort of implications when it comes to the brain, the master computer. And when that is down, you're going to be down in some way, shape, or form, and that's going to impact you spiritually speaking. Those master glands in the brain are responsible for our spiritual connection, you can say, and that's why so many people feel that sense of disconnection, because literally they're disconnected. There's a disconnection. Now, what happens when your computer is not connected to the network? It's not working. Like, oh, where's the Wi-Fi network? So that's, that's what your brain is looking for. Like, where's the network connection? And the network that I'm talking about, that's your nervous system also. That's your nervous system. All those wires need to be connected. If your wires in your house are not connected properly, you're not going to have electricity. Right? You need to, something is down, the switch is down, you call the electrician, and the electrician comes, and what does he do? It connects the wires that need to be connected. The body is exactly the same, my friends. It's exactly the same. You got to connect the wires correctly for things to work. If they're not working, things are going to be down. They're just, so you call the electrician. But who's the electrician? You are. You are the electrician. And this information is like, okay, I'm giving you the manual. You're going to be your own electrician. And yes, of course, you can hire someone to help you and whatnot, which is great, but you are the electrician. God is the electrician. The nature is the electrician. You plug into those places, everything that I mentioned today, and that is starting to get the wires together again in the way that it was designed to be connected. And until then, until we connect the wires, by connecting these dots, then it's not going to be like full-on electricity. And you want full-on electricity in your body. You want full-on, you want to be online. On point and online. So that's the summary for today. And my intention is that, especially if this is some of what I shared today was new to you, or just kind of got some light bulbs to turn on, then I'm happy. And please share in the comments if share anything, if something was new to you, if something that you are going to implement, if something that inspired you and like, wow, opened a new awareness for you. And please also, experiment with some of the things that I said, that I shared with you, and report back. That's really what I love the most, is to hear the experience from you, and the transformation, the difference that you feel. And remember, this is accumulative. This is over time. So don't be like, oh, I just walked barefoot yesterday and I didn't feel anything. Like, it's okay. Well, I'm talking about daily. It's just like if you took a shower in crappy city water one time, that's not going to kill you. I mean, that's not going to get you to Cancerville. But if you do it day in and day out for 20 years, then yes, it's going to have some accumulative effect and implications. So be patient and just start doing these things on a daily basis. Make this your life. It's a life. It's not just something to try and then like forget about it. No, it's just, that's how you live if you want to see true improvement in your health, and not just improvement, but like the next step for you, the high levels of regeneration. So please share in the comments if you're watching this video later, if you're tuning to into this video from YouTube, share in the comments as well. And that's it. We're going to close our session today, and thank you for those that were here live. I am sending you lots of love and blessings of health and radiant health, and be outside. Thank you, Erin. Be outside, enjoy the sun, get fresh air, get your feet on the ground, clean your house out of all the crazy lotions and potions, and detergents, and I didn't even mention that, but the same thing applies to detergents and shampoos and all those things. But that will be the next, really talking about some other factors. But these were the factors for today, under the air, water, fire, earth elements. And yes, here's to connection. Reconnect the wires, connect to the source within you. And may the force be with you. You are the force. So God bless you all, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.